Hello everyone, welcome to my show, Dr. Kim speaking to the world. Today I'm going to talk about Galatians, one of most controversial letters by Paul. In this letter, there is a very important issue, which is circumcision. That is, in the church, there are some people who argue that gentile Christians must be circumcised. While gentile Christians can be Christians through faith, through Jesus, but they say it's not enough for them because gentile Christians also must be circumcised. It is their understanding that no matter who they are, people can become children of God through faith and, so this is a must condition, and through the law. So both the law and faith are important. It looks like a good idea, but the point is, this kind of understanding is different from Paul's understanding of the gospel, good news of God. In Paul's understanding, the good news of God affects all people regardless of who they are. The only condition he emphasizes for the whole Gentiles is what? The faith, through faith. The law is important, certainly for Jews, but for Gentiles, the law is not disputed, but the law is not the first thing, Gentiles have to consider. The law is not an absolute thing for Gentiles to consider first. For Gentiles, what is most important is faith. Yes, they can keep the good spirit of the law. Yes, they can, obey the law in the sense that they also have to love God and love neighbors. Yeah, there are good commandments in the law, but otherwise, not all details about the law, such as circumcision or food dietary law, all those things are not mandatory important things for the Gentile Christians. On the other hand, even for Jews, Paul says faith is important for Jews too. But while they are, coming to God through Jesus, but they may keep the law because their laws are basically, from their tradition and they are very familiar with the laws. So circumcision or any other food dietary laws, no problem. They can keep all of these while they are accepting Jesus the Messiah. So for Jewish Christians, both law and faith are quite comfortably going hand in hand. For Gentiles, the Christian gospel, the good news, should not require for Gentiles to be circumcised. So here we see two different kinds of interpretation, right? From Paul's perspective, what really matters is a faith. And then faith reinterprets the law, that kind of sense, because he reads Genesis 12, which is the basis for his interpretation. Because when God called Abraham, right, Abraham responded to God's grace with faith, through faith. So that's real first thing, There was God's love and gracious love and promise. And Abraham simply responded to God and he walked to the faith after that. So the faith is really starting point. Obviously before faith, there was God's love or promise. But after that, faith is important. The law was added a much later time. And even when people keep the law, as Jews, they have to be faithful. They must be faithful all the time. Through their faithfulness, the law can be discerned and embodied. The law can be part of their lives. as long as they have faith, right? The law is always helping them, helping them to live as God's people. So if the law and faith going hand in hand throughout Jewish traditions, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, they do not have any problems. But here we have a Paul who argues that, right, for both Jews and Gentiles, what is the essential thing is not the law, but faith. Having said that, Jewish Christians have different understanding from Paul. They read Genesis 21, where God orders all, Abraham and his descendants must be circumcised because God blessed them, and, they have to circumcise male Jews, be circumcised. So that is the condition. If they don't do, they are cut off from the people of God. It's a real serious thing. I mean, when you depend on Genesis 21, and if you are Jew, certainly the circumcision is not a choice. It is a mandatory thing, all right? Since you are blessed by God, since you are children of God, you must be circumcised as a male, Jews. That's not the choice. So much so, some Jewish Christians and Jews interpreted, based their scriptural interpretation on Genesis 21. So they certainly are against Paul's understanding. So here we have two different kind of understanding of Scripture, So which one do you go? Which one do you agree with, right? So that's the question. So if you follow Paul's line of thought, certainly his understanding of gospel, right, begins with God, begins with the promise of God and faith. But for other people, other Jews thinking that, what? The law and circumcision, that is the starting point somehow, right? That is somehow dividing them in great detail, all right? So today I talked about the issue in Galatians church, circumcision issue. That is not, merely the issue of circumcision, but the matter of scriptural interpretation. So Paul's understanding and Jewish Christians' understanding of the Scripture. So this is a great item that you and I continue to, go through and think about, what is the beginning of the gospel and what can we do? What can we do and who can become the children of God? So thank you for listening. So let me stop here. Hopefully I'll be back with another topic. Bye-bye.